Dabbed in Ink presents.
Warning. The Hear It in Horror podcast is a review podcast that is full of spoilers of the first few episodes of the shows that we discuss. If you do not like spoilers, please pause and go listen to the show. We announce ahead of time what show is discussed in the next episode, or you can check it out in the show notes. We'll be here when you're done.
Hello! Thank you for joining us for another episode of Hear It in Horror, where we dive into the depths of horror audio to tell you if it's worth your nightmares. What we heard in horror this week was episodes 1 and 2 of Divine Calamity, Refugees, produced by Hypervein. Divine Calamity is a little different from the other shows we've reviewed so far, as it's actually launched earlier this year, and currently only has 2 episodes out. So no listening ahead, Clay. Let's see how the panel responds to this week's episodes. So we have a fun fact to start everything off. This person owns several types of herbal tea and one mysterious blend called Conversation Ender. Who is it?
That fits the vibe of literally all of you. That's all of you.
Really?
I love how you exclude yourself from that, though.
Because I really thought it was Jessica for a minute.
Oh, I
Look
do
at
have
Jessica
many
could
blends
be throwing
of
up
tea,
a
but
smoke
I prefer
screen
a
on
nice
us.
chai.
I think this might be Jessica just trying to
I think
pull
it's
it over.
Jessica. I feel like you would appreciate a conversation under tea.
But, like, what would it be? Is it gross? Is that what it is? Or is it just, like, knock you out?
You know what?
death
I'm
tea.
changing my mind.
Is it gross, Clay?
I think it's Clay. I think it's Clay.
I'm starting to think I'm the only one who filled out fun facts.
No!
I have a good friend of mine I've met through other podcasts, and she makes tons of great teas. But there's one they sent me, and it's called Campfire. And when I tell you, if you can imagine drinking a tea version of liquid smoke, this is essentially what it is. Now, while it's not gross, it's not bad. It's definitely like you like it or you don't. But everyone who's had it just kind of like then begins to have to process for the next half hour of what the hell they're drinking. And so whatever was on their mind is now very far away as they try to like slowly get the bottom of the cup and be like, do I want another cup?
Okay,
I do, and I don't know why.
I do actually have a smoked tea. It's called Chemical Workers Tea.
What?
From a fantasy tea company. Yeah, I think it's a Dryad Tea Company. Shout out your friend's tea company. Come on, Clay.
I have
It's not
one
a tea
called
company. They do this at
Smoky
home.
Afternoon that does kind of the same thing, but I can't drink it because it's too much. It is too much. I understand the thing that is being described here, the entire experience, because it was foisted upon me by a friend who was like, "You like smoky flavored things," and I was like, "Not this, I guess."
Are we a
found the
family-friendly
exception.
podcast? Because I forget.
Just don't do an
I
F-bomb.
forget.
Family friendly,
man! All right.
adjacent.
Then I'll let it go then.
Come on, just let the frick out, man.
Spill the tea.
Oh, really?
Nope. Oh, it's past.
fuck.
Give up. Give up.
All right, well, before we get to the show, everyone out there listening, go find your smoky tea. See if you're weird like us. You probably are, actually. You're listening to us.
Look, you're either weird or boring. All right.
All right. Do we want to do a little Jessica recap?
Yes, please.
Bust out the
We live
notebook.
for this.
We live
Before
for this.
initial thoughts?
Oh, yeah, do we want to do initial thoughts first, or do you want the
There's a
recap
note.
first? There's always notes.
I think
So
recap
recap.
first.
Okay, recap.
I don't want to
Honestly, no shade. I need it. Because I was like, what? Okay.
I will do my best here, but it's
Okay.
like Partial Veil. It's another pure script format, so sometimes it's a little difficult to tell where we are and who's there, but I will do my best. Episode 1, our pilot episode, 2 homies in the woods. We find out later this is Glenn, he's a private investigator, and Spade, who is in his head. He's a voice in his head. And again, in the second episode, that's when we find out that there was some ritual that Glenn is very casual about mentioning that inserted Spade or Shade? My God. Spade.
It was
No, it is Spade.
Spade. That inserted Spade into his head. Spade doesn't know anything. Doesn't know who he is, how he got there. Most normal things he doesn't know. So we're like, is this a human? Is this an alien? Is this some sort of demonic cult entity? We don't know. He's nice though. He's got Glenn's interests at heart. Anyway, walking through the woods, we eventually find out it's just Glenn walking through the woods, and home. We got our little head spirit going on. Not entirely sure why we're walking in the woods, but we find a barn. There's a dog in the barn. The dog is named Izzy, and I was like, "Oh, cool!
Izzy,
All right.
yeah.
I know
that-
Izzy. That's
That
exciting."
kind
did you
of
feel
messed me
about
up
that?
a little.
You're like, Izzy's tied up in the barn.
Like,
The show is talking to me. Did they get me a joke?
So poor Izzy tied up in the barn. Glenn's like, "We're not having this. Freeze young Izzy." And Spade's like, "What are we doing with this dog?" And Glenn's like, "Chill, it's a dog, dude. It's fine." And he's like, "But what if she runs off?" And it's like, "It's fine. What if we'll put her in the car? What if she runs? Is she safe in the car?" Dude, the dog's fine. So the dog's fine, presumably. Actually, we don't find out what happens, and I don't think Izzy's in episode 2. Anyway, but besides being out in the woods, they also stumble upon some creature, which they shoot and then leave, I think. But then, once we've secured the dog, scene transition, we are now in the lab with Abel, and I believe his name is Jude. I don't think they say his first name in the first episode, so we have Abel
Jude,
and Jude.
yeah.
It is Jude.
it's Jude.
And Jude's hanging out with some lab rats, which is how we know we're in a lab. Pretty nice to lab rats, even though that's just, animal cruelty. So they get a delivery of bones, and they're like weirdo freak bones, and their boss is a dick about it for some reason, and the driver's being weird about it for some reason. He's like, the bones, he's like treating the bones, he's like, "You take the bones," but then he's like, "They speak to me," and you're like, weird thing to throw at the end there, buddy. So they take the bones. Then I think, let's see, yeah, so we take the bones, and then, oh God, Jessica, your notes, Jessica. Okay, and then we transition again. And this one I wasn't entirely sure of where we were. I think we're in the lab, and we have this group of people talking about some sort of cult activity that's been going on in town. And then I think Jude walks in, and they're all observing the bones, and they're like, "Oh, freak bones. The bones bleed." And then there's like going on, and then Spooky Voice comes in, and Spooky Voice is like, "What's up?" He said something and I didn't write it down. But yeah, the Spooky Voice comes in, and
Quick, read the notes.
Read the notes.
I was there to read the notes. So then that was the end of episode 1, and you're like, okay, we know there's like a cult going on. We know spooky bones, and then we move on to episode 2, and I think we open again with Glenn, our private investigator, and he's talking to his daughter Emily. And she loves Blue's Clues. It's kind of, and she's watching Blue's Clues on tape, which kind of makes me think that maybe this is supposed to be set in the 90s. I don't know that children are watching things on tape, much less Blue's Clues. And I think it was Steve. I think
Or maybe they're just
these
like
millennial
that
ears
out in
heard
the
Steve.
boonies? Yeah, I did hear Steve in Blue's Clues. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so we got OG Blue's Clues on tape. This is feeling 90s. And
It's a popular setting these days.
it's great. It was a great time to be alive. So
yeah.
Glenn's making pancakes. Spade is like, "Why are you feeding your child again?" And he's like, "Because children eat, and it makes me feel close to her to feed her." And you're like, or maybe because it's breakfast. Maybe that would be a good reason. So they're having a
special pancakes.
conversation.
Are they expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
What? Wild.
But then Emily, out of nowhere, she's like, "Oh, Blue told me a joke," or whatever, and she giggles, and you're like, "Oh, because she's watching the tape." But then we find out that no, Blue is the name of her own weird voice in her head, which is maybe the driver from the first episode. I couldn't tell if that was the same voice or not, because he comes back. He was a thing later. Again, it's hard to tell with like the script format sometimes. So, and he's obviously evil. He's like so evil, because he's like, "Maybe we'll see." Like he's super villaining all over the place, and we're like, "Uh-oh, kid's got an evil demon in her head."
Super villain all over the place.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Title of the episode: Super villain all over the place.
All over the place, just all over.
and then we transition
Crazy.
again. We're back with Jude. I think. No wait. Yeah, so Jude and Maury, which is the evil voice, I think the big evil from the end of the first episode, he's decided to name himself Maury. And I'm like, we could have gone eviler there.
I don't think so.
I feel like we could, like,
Maury's
Maury is just like your
evil,
weird
maybe.
neighbor that, like, you avoid and he smells like cigarettes, you know?
Yeah,
old
that's
Maury is an
evil,
old band
right?
name for sure.
That counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I instantly went to like Sherlock Holmes. I was like, you mean Moriarty? Is that what you meant?
Oh, maybe
You messed
that's
up?
what the reference is. I did it Maury,
Yeah.
like the TV show
Maury
Maury.
Povich.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are the father.
There's some real squishy sounds going on. It seems like Jude is the only one who survived the bone incident, and the Maury is like, you've died before. So Jude had some sort of previous near-death experience before, and he's special, but we don't know why he's special. Yeah, and then the driver voice comes back, and he works for Maury, so he had the bones delivered there on purpose, maybe specifically to get to Jude. So then Jude wakes up from almost dying again and goes and tells Abel, the bones suck, we need to do something about the bones. Abel's like, chill, it's fine. And they go see the bones, and the bones are normal, and Jude's like, what? Normal bones? But they were bleeding, and there was an evil neighbor coming out of them. Then, transition again. We're back with Glenn. Glenn's dropping Emily off at school. The teacher, hot for Glenn. So hot for Glenn. I'm like,
Oh my
whoa.
God.
She saw the single dad vibes, and she's like,
Right?
I want that.
Yep.
But that's not important. There's a car dent, a sentimental car dent in his
yeah.
truck that's no longer there, and he's very upset about it. And the voice in his head, Spade's like, well, maybe you just got the dent taken care of when you weren't thinking. He's like, I would remember getting the dent taken care of. But then he's like, but I've been having some memory issues. But I don't think I would have taken this dent out. This is an important dent. Because his daughter, when she was in preschool, smacked her face into the car. And it's very important that we remember that forever.
I have met people
Yes.
like that.
Where they're like,
Smack
let's
their
remember
face
this.
into cars.
No,
Thank
they're
you,
just like
Lante.
this weird thing is just like it must be maintained for posterity forever.
I mean, presumably Emily also likes the dent. Otherwise, that's pretty messed up to be like, hey, kid, remember when you hurt yourself pretty severely, I would assume, to make a dent in the car?
Yep.
Cars are pretty tough, from what I understand. Yeah, but so Glenn's like, I've been forgetful
All right
since
there,
the ritual. Yeah. And then we kind of get a little bit more lore, because Spade's like, I can't actually access your mind to see your memories. And Glenn's like, I don't know, I don't trust you. And Spade's like, well, why not? That's mean. Because, like, Spade is obviously a nice lad, or, you know.
Are they?
Spade's a chill homie. I feel like
Spade may
so
believe,
an entity
Spade believes
inside his
Spade is a
head.
nice person. Yeah.
If
I
you
feel like
say
Spade
so.
has Glenn's best interests at heart.
If you
personally.
say so.
We'll get there. All right. So anyway, this is why we find out that like there was like a ritual like a month ago, and that's how Spade
Casual. Just
got him. Yeah, like, and he's so casual. He's like, oh, it's been like this since the ritual. You remember that ritual? I'm like, no, I don't actually, and I still don't because there's only 2 episodes out. So then this is also when we find out what Glenn does for a living, because he gets a call, and some dude's like, hey, my son's missing. My son William. And Glenn's like, I'm on it. And then Spade's like, hey, wasn't that guy a little too chill to be having a missing son? And then Glenn's like, you know, men,
Oh,
they don't care.
I felt so fucking called out
You
for that.
know, man.
Hold on. The direct quote is, not many men allow themselves to be hysterical on the phone with a stranger. I'm like,
I feel like missing child is the one excuse we can have for even the most macho of men to be like,
yeah,
you know, have an
I
emotion.
feel that,
Yeah,
that
you can
guys
cry when
just
your kid
kind of
goes
like
missing.
express their emotions differently. It just usually comes out more as like anger with that generation.
Let's ask our resident straight claimant.
We're not even bleeping that one because that caught me off guard. Okay, my thought on the matter when I initially listened to this was, all right, this is probably like his 3rd phone call about the situation, because I'm not assuming he called the PI first.
Unless this was unless again we'll get there. This might have been a setup, because they get there, they're looking for where William was last, right? So they go to check it out. They find a summoning circle, and they're like, "Oh, like our ritual," and we're like, "What ritual? What ritual?" There's a dead body. There's a bunch of crows. They're like classic crows. Crows and summoning circles go hand in hand. And then this is where it gets a little confusing because there's a lot of sound effects to describe what's going on and not so much like narrative action. But again, it's like, how do you be like, but wait, a thing. So there's some weirdo thing, right? And it speaks, and at first Glenn's like, it's human, but it's obviously not human, and it mentions William. And then Spade, takes over, I think, and then they shoot it, and it's dead. And then there's a convenient letter, but it's in an unknown language. But Spade can read the language, and it's like, so Jigsaw, it's like, oh, you found my game. And then William, I think, attacks them, and there's a lot of, splooshy sounds, and I'm like, are we getting stabbed? A little unsure. Oh no, then this is when I think Spade saves Glenn from the evil possessed child, maybe? Because the evil possessed child was like, you killed my friend, the weirdo thing from before. And then, so then they kill William, and then they're like, time to go. And that's where we leave off.
Good job.
I don't know why you guys like me doing this.
It's delightful. You have so many details.
It is. It's lovely.
It made more things make sense to me.
I'm saying I've changed my entire listening plan because I'm like, what show do I need to force Jessica?
Oh my!
What's
fair.
Oh no.
That is fair.
All right.
No.
Clay, you
pretty
had the
legit.
fun fact, so what do you think?
First, I want to go to my initial thought, which wasn't even about the show. It was like they did the content warning, which is good. It's good to prepare people. But when I was listening to content warning, I was like, I just giggled to myself, and I was like, huh, they're describing Texas. And then it actually takes place in Texas, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about calling that one out. I've also noticed, too, and maybe it's just observational bias or hope, I've seen a lot more audio dramas recently taking place around the Houston area or in Texas in general. So, I mean, yay us and it's all things that are spooky ooky, so I'm happy with that. But overall, I don't know yet how I feel about the show jumping in to what I would consider the halfway point because of the rituals, what's going on with the head. There's a lot of explains. But I think that can be done really well, so I'm really curious where this is going to go with that. That's my 2 cents.
I would like to follow along because I thought the trigger warning, this is the first time the trigger warning has been really front and center beforehand, and I thought that was great for a new show because it came to me like intrigue, oh, we're gonna dive into this, and then you're like, when you're listening, you're like, when are they gonna dive into this kind of a thing in a good way. I will say that the pilot felt more like a, I don't know what the word is, prelude or preamble, and episode 2 felt more like a pilot because it kind of gave a more this is the main character, this is kind of a little bit of the day in their life, kind of thing going on. I think I know it's young, so I it's young and scrappy. So that makes me love it by default because it is hard to start out on something new and different, and especially only having 2 episodes, it's hard to even muster up to keep going. So but I will say I think that they could use maybe I wonder if one person's doing the writing, editing, etc. I feel like they might benefit from a director, if that makes sense.
Just kind of another set of eyes to kind of look at things, or
to look at things, take some things out, say this needs to go here, kind of.
We could explain this a little bit better here.
Explain this here. All right, yes, yeah.
That's fair. I mean, that's definitely a thing that can, so many people can benefit from because, when you describe anything that you know that you can see inside your head, trying to get that out because there's some parts you're just going to completely gloss over because they made sense to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, having that second set of ears to pick up on your action is invaluable. Amazing. when you're in this particular setup of in medias res for one, and also doing a lot of the storytelling using the actual soundscape, that aspect of it. On that end, I think this one is a little on the young side because it's like they're still trying to get their feet with the format. I think, like I'm kind of like I like where this is going. I am an absolute sucker for voices in people's heads as a trope, and this one has like 3, maybe. I don't know. It's a little bit unclear, but like I'm like thematically on board with this one, and you know these are all skills that just come with time. So it's like as you kind of like go along, I think we'll see more and more of this kind of really coming together in an interesting way.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in the same boat here where it's like this is people a little bit newer to, I think, each process involved. Like these are new voice actors. I can tell. And like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. The passion is there. I feel like it takes time to be able to feel comfortable behind a mic and to be like the script says do not go outside and you're like, okay, that needs to be don't go outside. Nobody's like do not do this. They're like don't do that, you know. Sort of thing. So there are some moments where I'm like we need to ease the language into more conversational language a few times, and I don't know, when you're a newer voice actor, a lot of times you don't really feel comfortable doing that unless you are expressly told you have, you know, the freedom to do that and things like that. Like in my case, if I see a script like that where it's like the initial read, it doesn't feel comfortable, I will give the initial read word for word, verbatim, and then I'll do a read that's a little bit more natural and flowing, and I'll leave it to the producer to decide which take they want to use, if they really want to use the verbatim take or not.
Don't mess with my vision.
I mean, you do have
It's
some
a tough line
authors
to
like
walk.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like, you don't want to do, like, a full improv because that's just rude. Be like, I know your story better than you do. But, like, sometimes it's like, if you don't read the words out loud yourself, you don't know how they're going to sound out loud. But, yeah, I did like...
crazy run-on sentences.
Yeah. I feel like the sound design, for the most part, was pretty good, though. Like, when we had that opening scene, it's like, I know it's nighttime, and I know we're walking in the woods immediately. And so that way, that was nice. We didn't need somebody to tell me what was going on. They did describe it a little bit as they were going. And then, like, opening with the laboratory where you hear, like, the rats and the squeaking. And I was like, okay, so we know where we are. And then listening to Jude talk, it confirms it for you. But then there were a few times where it's like, I don't really know where we are. But for the most part, the background sound design I felt was pretty good. But yeah, like, it's new, there's learning, everyone's growing. I don't doubt that it'll continue to grow because there's obviously a lot of care put into this by everyone on the team, and it's just a matter of, you know, gaining that experience.
I will say one example of them growing immediately was, so Spade going from, pretty sure it was a snowball mic or a headset, right? And
everyone has a different mic. Everyone has a different mic.
But I think, so part of being like an audio producer or whatever is working with what you got, and I think the effect they put in episode 2 made that a lot better, a lot smoother.
Yeah, there was a dramatic uptick, I think, between episodes as far as like just general audio quality and, you know, design.
I think there were like months between them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe the first one came out in February and then the second one came out in April. So
And here we are in September, and not an
Fingers
update in
crossed.
sight.
exciting.
And this
Another one soon. Fingers crossed.
This is why I like because I know how hard it is, and even putting something out on a monthly cadence is really hard. And maybe we'll talk about this more after the show, like what cadence things need to come out to keep an audience, to keep people interested. So I hope that they do release like a whole slew of episodes later in the year. That'd be great.
Yeah, hopefully they're just like making a backlog and like so they can like update more regularly, because that kind of holds people's interests a bit better. So maybe fingers crossed that that's what's going on, and that's why they haven't updated.
Yeah.
Well, that's what because I'm definitely looking forward to more, and like because we're talking about the sound work a little bit. Now, granted, my ears are dumb; I don't pick up on the things y'all do. But there was a song in the background I can only describe as a broken Game Boy playing its hardest, and I loved the shit out of that. It was cute. It was fun.
I know the one you're talking about.
Game by playing its artist.
Yeah, no, it had some sort of pingy tones going on. I think during
A little
lot
chip
of the,
tuney, and I was like,
chiptune-y,
"This
yeah.
is nice." Like I should probably be focusing on this part, but I really am. It's nice.
So yeah, definitely 90s. Okay, all right. Okay.
Uh-oh. Serious Alante.
No, it's just I was struggling with the balance of showing versus telling. So for
The
me,
constant struggle. Yeah.
So for me, I heard a lot of telling. So even beyond like lore drops, like that's just a matter of like, do I put it in this episode or next episode? It's a more of a like, I'm doing this action right now kind of a thing, where like that's something that I think I'm hoping they'll figure out. I think that comes with just what I was saying before, like a director, another set of eyes being like, okay, you know,
Well, I think
maybe
that's
just switch this word.
kind
It's
of
also
the
the
purpose
struggle.
of Spade,
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
as sort of a alien to the entire situation, requiring to be walked through what a dog is, for instance.
That part was fine. No, it was actually
yeah.
with like our PI doing it that way. Like,
Yeah.
About to himself that I was like,
Yeah, I think again that's part of the struggle of having a pure script because if you're not doing it, you risk what happens in some of those other scenes where it's like I don't know what's happening a few times where I'm like I am hearing a lot of squishing and I am unclear as to what is squishing. If somebody was like,
Jessica does not
my
like
guts,
squish.
I'd
Yeah,
be
I
like,
thought he would-
the guts, of course, but of course.
The guts
I
are
thought he was
squishing.
dead instantly. Just like I heard that first squelch, and I was like, "Well, that was a shortly lived character."
The squishing was so squishy.
It was so squishy, man.
And it
That's
didn't
so
trigger
squishy.
misophonia.
It's specifically whispering for me.
Oh, okay.
Whispering or like mouth sounds.
Okay.
That's fair. I think with this one, like sound design wise, it suffers from a little bit of the like too much kind of things. Like with the squishing, it's like that was a wound, yes, but it did kind of sound like they were rummaging around in this character's guts a little. Like
Maybe they
mice-
were. We don't know.
Maybe they were.
Like the
that
mice
was
was
not a
kinda-
wound. That
kinda
was
like
a Mortal
a
Kombat
little-
fatality.
little constant kind of like squeak, 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 squeak in the background, which does sell that there's mice,
Mice.
but
yeah.
like maybe a little bit much. You
Maybe
know?
we could have moved away from the mice, gone to a different
maybe
room
a
earlier.
little bit. Like there's
we
some
just
there's
need
some
to
really
get
good
some room
use.
tone from Partial Veil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's some
Yeah.
really good use of other elements of like telling a story through like the making of the pancakes kind of thing that's going on with the sound design where you can tell exactly what they're going for, but like there's those instances of certain choices that are just like take you a little bit out. Sometimes it's a background noise, like the chirping of the birds that sounded kind of more like one of those like little whistle kind of things that have a little water in them that you blow into and it makes kind of bird sounds because it was just so constant. But like that's getting a sound repertoire for everything together is hard, particularly if you're doing it on a budget. So it's one of those like can't necessarily fault one.
And I don't know if you are aware, but one of the most used sound websites for independent audio dramas has gone to the dark side with AI. So
Yes, it has.
No.
a huge vault for potential audio drama creators is now
Is it tagged? at
questionably
least?
closed.
Is it the AI sounds are at least tagged as AI sounds?
Well, no, it's just that the company now offers AI services. So, like the old sounds are still there. The question is, do you want to work with that company? But
Yeah.
this is your show. If you're out there listening, you want to make something, do what you want to do. It's just the line has been drawn in the sand. I'm not telling you where to stand on it.
Yeah, it's definitely like the landscape
There's so many
changes
opinions.
all the time. Like Freesound came out with a giant change to their attribution situation not too terribly long ago. So newer podcasts have a harder time because a lot of the old sounds haven't had their attributions changed. So giant amounts of free libraries are now just not available like they were.
That sucks.
I know.
big time.
Believe me,
And,
it
like-
really sucks.
Oh my god.
Unless you have your own field recording equipment too, because it's not like you can take your good mic out with you into
Oh,
the
yeah.
wild and be like, let me capture my own sounds. You can try to do it on your phone, I guess, but yeah.
Oh, Izzy.
Yeah, I got mine for Christmas.
I know you probably mean like a small one, but I'm just imagining you in a field with a boom mic, just going, yes, this is
Same.
what I need right here.
I
That is
legit
exactly what
want
I
a proper
visualized.
boom mic. I got a task
Do you
cam that I
really?
need to actually get a proper one.
Okay.
I could actually rig up my Yeti for it, but
Izzy, I just imagine you in a field, like carrying the boom mic around, like holding it out to birds.
I refuse to accept another reality. This is
all I
canon
can.
in my mind as to what Izzy's doing out in the wilds. The wilds of Canada.
yeah. All right. Hey, woodpecker, I require a quote.
Hey, peck this.
Excellent. Can you give me that again?
Just a few more, just so we have extras, just in case.
Just a few more. Yeah. I need a safety on that one.
So, Izzy, I know you like the three voices, but I'm posing a question. Does it make it less special since there were three? So it feels like practically every character had a voice in their head. Does that
Yeah.
make it less special, or does that make the world more, like, interesting? Is this
think it is.
nonchalantness with the ritual mean that, like, magic's just kind of whatever? Like,
I
where are
think
we?
it's actually kind of novel because it's not terribly often that you have a story with more than one voice in the head going on. Like maybe two. You might have like a villain or whatnot, but everybody having their own personal invisible friend, adding narration to their situation. That is kind of novel. You know?
Yeah, I can only ever think of one show that does it, aside
Yeah.
from this one, so yeah.
Yeah. Like I am not opposed. And I like the way they've kind of done the design around them. They have a good spooky kind of fun sound design to them to make them unique, which the only issue I think I have is that I'm not entirely sure if some of them are in someone's head. They kind of seem like they are and aren't. But
Yeah, I'd say with the whole voice in the head thing, I kind of want more of an effect of when it's like, because again, since it sounds like everyone is recording with different amounts of sound dampening, different microphones of varying qualities. So even when everyone's in the same room together, like that scene where the bones explode or something, I was like, I thought one of the characters was like on the phone because I was like, oh, that they kind of got an effect on it.
Were they not?
I don't think they were. I think it was a group of people in a room together.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe they were. Again, it was kind of hard for me to tell because at first I was like, oh, that character's on a phone, but then they're all like interacting with each. Maybe they're on speakerphone. So it's kind of hard for me to tell, like what's an effect and what's just this variance in audio quality. And again, that's something you learn with time, how to make it sound like everyone's talking in the same room and reacting to each other.
it is super hard. Like, it is one of the hardest things to kind of, like, get everybody to sound sort of more or less homogenous in their design, because it's like, ugh, there's so many little specific trivial things to learn about, like, frequencies and all of the things at your disposal in any given DAW. So,
And that's why I just refuse to learn. And I'm like, I'll be a voice actor and heap praise upon the producers for making me sound good.
I assume that's why we were doing a nonfiction podcast.
Little do you know, in episode 3 is when we start adding in the sound effects, and this is actually just like, there's a deep underlying story that's going on, and none of us know it yet.
oh man,
That's why Ashley asked us who we all are in the horror movies. She's wondering who to kill off first, and it's going to be me.
That explains why Izzy wasn't here last time.
Dun, dun.
Oh, it was so sad when you weren't here, Izzy. Never do that again.
Yeah. See, I told
I will
you.
try.
I felt empty.
They didn't believe me. Thank you.
No, we were just like, we spent like 30 minutes just crying. Just crying.
Just
We had to like
Except
pull
me,
it
because I'm a
together.
man, apparently.
I missed that, but it sounded hurtful. What?
Except for me, because I'm a man, apparently.
Oh.
No tears, no emotions.
No
Clay was just
Like any
like,
good,
I missed
Stone
like any
it.
good
faced the
Scotsman, I
entire
just poured
time.
scotch on top of it, and it'll die eventually. That's the way.
Wow. Okay.
That's how we cure feelings here.
That got too real. Okay, here we go.
Hey,
Is this not a safe space for me to open up to y'all? All this is getting cut, I hope. Not, though.
Nope.
Does
it's all
anything
going
get
in.
cut? Do we know?
No, it really doesn't.
I think it's just
But so
the
to
talking
go back
over.
to the show and,
we need
not
to,
my
back to the
demons.
show.
circle back
Not
around
my
here.
demons. I think that like there's a lot of like we were talking earlier about having someone else's other ears or eyes on it to what explains. I think there's some stuff that's going on that kind of shows already some of the lore, like the different ritual, which may explain why Spade is completely lost in the sauce as opposed to the other possible demons, because that's what our homeboy said he's been prepared for his entire life thanks to religion. So I think like there's like things like small things like that may hopefully play out in the end, and I'm really looking forward to that too. But I also want if you're out there, if you're listening, if you hear our review of your show, I'm gonna need some like April Fool's outtakes of Spade being confused by telephones and TVs and everything else, because Stranger to Strangeland is such a great comedic concept when it's
Yeah, I have a weakness.
So speaking of Spade, because I thought Spade was a homie. He's just a bro. He's a guy. My guess was he's some sort of baby entity, and that's why he doesn't know anything. Because like right now they're treating him like he's forgotten everything, but in my mind he's just brand new to existence. Because like when you forget things, you can like you forget your name or where you're from or all that stuff. You don't forget what pancakes are as a general rule. Generally, the pancakes stay. So my guess is.
I mean,
there was a ritual
could be like
cults
displaced
exist.
in time, right? Like maybe Spade comes from a place where there are no pancakes. Dogs are the one that I think are like you definitely know what a dog is if you've been on the planet for at least like the past I don't know 100,000 years. How old are dogs? This is a question.
Old,
I mean, they're
ancient,
from wolves.
immortal beings.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
Yeah, they came along at some point, and it was really early on in the whole human experience.
Also about our nice little homie's grasp of reality or lack thereof. Did it seem like at one point he just wasn't like, because it makes it sound like he's like that's the only head he's in, and he can't read the memories. So it makes me seem like at one point he was like, "Spade, are you there? Huh? What? Yes. What? Like,
Yeah, where
were you
was
were you
he?
napping in his head? Like, did you just zone out?
Maybe he was bored. Maybe he was like, "This is just too much Blues Clues. I cannot."
I mean,
It's that
Blues
scene from The
Clues."
Simpsons
It's
where Homer's
relatable.
brain just kind of drifts to the side.
Yeah, but
How
that's a
dare
good
you,
point,
Izzy?
though. Is
How
Spade
dare you.
traveling to different minds? Is he homie hopping? We don't know.
Homie hopping. Okay.
Yeah, is he?
Oh,
Are we
they got
cheating
really
on
excited
Glenn?
about
Is he? That would be.
Leave
kinda
my
cool.
weekend plans out of this.
Are
You
we
set it up.
family-friendly?
You thought I wasn't going to say that? Come on. Anyway.
I kind of thought, yeah. But yeah, so like I think there's a lot of small things that either A, the writer is just like, well, it makes sense, or B, like really just leaving a breadcrumb trail, and I hope it's the latter.
That's
I'm
what
not
I
close.
feel like it is. It feels like we're getting specific clues spaced out over time. I'm actually fine not knowing about anything. Even the super casual ritual a month ago, I'm like, okay, that just kind of adds more details to this world that you can have a man implanted inside your brain and a month later you're cool. It's just maybe that's the world in whence we live. Because people were pretty casually talking about like this G-dang cult. And I'm
But
like,
also remember, Spade was like, stop talking to yourself out loud, or you're going to be weird.
and he still did it. Glenn's like, anyway. And then the daughter's like, what, Daddy?
Well, that's interesting that he has to talk out loud for Spade to hear him.
I don't think he has
No,
to.
he doesn't.
I-
Spade told him to do
Okay.
the opposite, to just think
I think it's
the
just more of a
thoughts.
reflex. You hear someone, you respond to someone.
Dude, that would suck so bad. The whole like pink elephant thing, because it's like if you're like someone's in my brain, don't think about something bad. Immediately you're thinking about the absolute worst things you can think of, and then your brain friend doesn't know that that's not who you are. You know, he doesn't even know what thoughts are. He's very confused. Is he just like everyone just thinks about horrible things all the time? And it's like, no, it's just because you're there. Unless you're Clay.
Buddy, we gotta have a little. Yes. I will say it did worry me in the beginning, and we've had this talk in another episode about Yellow Jackets. Is I thought immediately we were going to go into one of the personal cardinal sins. I'm just going to speak for me. Of like, something's going to happen to this dog. You know.
Well, the
and
something
now
that happened is we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
As far as we know,
we
So-
drop Izzy off
Izzy
at a
the dog is
shelter?
safe.
Did we?
Yeah.
Izzy the dog is
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah,
that's all
but,
I need to
you
know.
But when you were first hearing it, you were like, I don't know. I thought they were going to kill the dog. Just
Izzy the
from
me
all
was confused, so you know.
from all the things that set up, and then a kid gets involved. I just like they're hitting on some very like you know what I mean, like very sensitive, dancing around very sensitive.
Was the thing they shot in the woods? Was that the bones that went to the office, to the lab? Is that what?
Thought that was?
That?
That would be a
Couldn't
great
tell you.
connection.
Left, right, or center couldn't tell you.
I didn't make
Because
that.
they were like, ew, icky thing. It looks like it hurts, right? Or did they say that at the lab? They're like, oh, it's nasty. It looks like its bones would have been protruding from its flesh. That would have been painful. What a cursed existence this nightmare creature has.
Yeah.
And then it was just Maury. Maury the whole time.
Did Maury like just reform? Like I was a little lost in the sound design there. This is like what?
Yeah, I
How-
feel
yeah.
like
What happened?
we've got a lot of bones, but not a lot of connective tissue as
A
far
lot of
as
spooky bones.
designs. We got a lot of spooky bones, and I feel like the podcast could take that as like a story thing of like making those individual connections later. But as is, it kind of feels like maybe it just sort of missed the mark, and there's things that we're supposed to pick up that we just didn't.
I like to
Like-
think that they have a plan, and we are not in on the plan yet
yeah,
because we're still
we're-
early.
It definitely sounds like there's a plan. It definitely sounds like they're feeding us information piece by piece. They know what's going on and they know where it's going to go. I imagine this story is pretty much, if not fully fleshed out, they at least have a plan of a direction. I don't think they're writing it episode by episode like, and now we'll add this thing in. I feel like it's very methodical and specific would be my guess for the writing.
And it's certainly
Out
not the
of-
first show we've listened to where like we only had 2 this time, but like 3 episodes. We're like, we have no idea.
Yeah, no,
what's
that's
going on
that's
here.
Yeah.
pretty
At all.
regular for an
Yeah.
opening because they want to lead you on. But like, if this one had more than just the 2, I would have listened beyond the exercise of the podcast homework that we assigned for our little group here because this one did kind
How
of have
dare
me.
you do what I do?
I know. I'm stepping on your toes, and it's not cool.
And
of
I got
me.
called out earlier for that too, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
That's
so
Ashley.
sorry on
She
that.
wrote that. That wasn't me. I just said the words.
So that's why Ashley's not hosting today.
That's fair. That's fair.
She threw you
I
under the
HR?
can't-
bus.
Who's our HR person?
I think it's Ashley.
Foiled again.
Well, on that note, it's time to take a little breather before we move on to our next topic. As we prepare, please enjoy this 60-second reset.
Time now for our 60-second reset. Today's 60-second reset is brought to you by Clay.
All right, time for our minute movie, other M word. I don't know, we'll work on the branding eventually. Today's pick is Coherence from 2013 and asks a very simple question. What happens when you mix a couples-only dinner party with quantum physics and a dangerous lack of trust? It starts innocently enough. Dinner, wine, awkward exes, and a blackout. Electrical kind, not the tequila kind. Then someone goes outside and comes back, well, different. Phones stop working, notes appear where they shouldn't, paranoia sets in fast. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and forget why you're there? This movie is 2 hours of that sensation, weaponized. Shot on a shoestring budget and replacing the entire idea of a script with pure vibes, Coherence goes from pass the salad to no one leaves my sight at breakneck speed. Tension doesn't ever really let up. By the end, you'll find yourself asking questions like, who can I actually trust? How do I know what's real? And most importantly, what has Xander from Buffy been doing this entire time? Final verdict, 5 stars for tension, plus 1 bonus star for making dinner parties permanently suspicious. Trust no one, especially if they brought dessert.
And now we're back. We were just discussing how we felt about Divine Calamity refugees. We had a lot of good thoughts and a lot of conjecture about where we thought this is going to go eventually when there are more episodes for us to listen to. Do we have any more thoughts on the VAs or the production?
Because I always comment on the VAs.
You do. There's a lot of boys for you to hate on.
Yeah.
I don't.
so
Okay.
many.
I don't hate on any of them in that I know, like, I can tell that everyone's starting out. I hear a couple of people who sound slightly more experienced, but I think the only problem with the VAs is, like, the inequality of experience kind of magnifies that. You know what I'm trying to say? Can someone else say it better, please?
Yeah, when you have a good voice actor and then you have, I don't want to say good, a more experienced voice actor, and then you have someone who's newer to it, their newness is, it seems a lot more exaggerated than if they were just, if the whole crew was
Yes.
brand spanking new voice actors.
Yes.
But yeah,
The talent gap.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Or
But that's beautiful for the new people, especially because it's like, I know you can kind of listen for how to get better, like, and how to play off each other. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see these voice actors grow.
I would argue that they're all recording their lines separately based on some of the non-words they're saying. 'Cause there'll be times where it's like someone will laugh, but it's like the wrong laugh, like it's a little too harsh for the conversation that's happening. Or there'll be like a noise of frustration, but again, it's a little harsher for what's going on. And that happens when you're not responding to someone directly, because otherwise those sounds come naturally. So I would argue they're all recording off a script separately, and then it's getting put together by the producer.
Yeah, it does have a sort
So-
of constructed quality about it, I think.
So maybe one, take it with a grain of salt, advice is do a table read with your voice actors if you can. Especially starting out, it'll build that chemistry, which is kind of like half of why people listen to podcasts. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
I'd
it's
agree with you there. I think it'd actually be beneficial to the show in general if everyone was recording together live, or at least practicing live, just because I feel like the conversations would feel a lot more natural, and you get more human moments. Like, if you stutter or mess up your words, like, as a newer voice actor, like, I don't want to do that. This needs to be perfect. But as a more experienced voice actor, if that fits the scene, if that fits what you're doing, keep it in. Like, half the time, if I have some takes to choose from, I'll have one that sounds like just my normal narrating voice, and I'm tired of my own shit. I'm like, oh my God, stop talking. And then I'll have one where, like, my voice will crack, or, like, I'll be a little out of breath, or I'll trip over my words a little bit. And if it fits the character, if it fits the scene, those are the takes that I would choose. The ones that have variation, that have difference, that have those human moments that make you feel like, yes, this is a person telling me a story.
So what I am curious about, and I want everyone's thoughts, is the title. What does the title say? Because thinking about Divine Calamity, refugees, I'm kind of getting like a malevolent vibe. Like, these are kind of eldritchy things. Like Mori. I want to call him Moriarty.
Yeah.
Felt very like Wendigo. I was debating whether to say that name or not. 'cause
Oh, wait,
that's
it's
the
not
whole
like Memento
thing.
Mori, and he's literally just death, right? Oh, that's it. That's absolutely it. That is absolutely. My brain went straight
There you go.
to Maury, the TV show, the trash reality TV show.
Oh,
No,
you
this
broke
makes
Clay!
sense.
You
That
broke
makes
Clay!
sense. I think we may
I'm
have cracked that
so
one.
upset. So upset.
Or you just
Spoiled
inspired
the
them to
entire
make it
podcast.
that just...
My bad. I wasn't thinking classical Latin. I fucked up, guys. I effed up,
Okay.
friends.
I
We'll just
HR
add bees.
status violation.
yeah.
That's fair.
What were we talking about? Because I had something to say
title.
about it. And
You
it's
had something
gone.
about the
What-
title. Because I know the one thing.
title,
Oh.
what
The
does
one
that
thing
evoke?
that I
What do you
kind
think
of
is...
was like wondering about was like the little hyphenated like Divine Calamity refugees kind of makes me think that there's like more of a series kind of thing. Like
That's-
the
yeah, that's
Divine
what I thought
Calamity
first, and I was-
hyphen something else kind of like
yeah, I looked,
as a-
and this was the only Divine Calamity that popped up for podcasts.
yeah.
Or is the plan, this is like an in medias res season, and then maybe there's another season that's like Divine Calamity.
Yeah, I mean, it might
Pre-war, I
just
don't
be kind
know.
of like
Yeah,
thinking
a
ahead.
season title, yeah.
Kind of like, yeah.
As far as what the title means, I took it as simple as could be. Oh, these are refugees from some form of afterlife, heaven, hell, what have you.
Now I'm like, is this purgatory?
I didn't read into it at all. I was like, Divine Calamity. Okay, something is wrong with the gods, and these are refugees. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be sold. We're good.
Maybe that's what Spade is. Maybe he's hiding in Glenn's brain from Maury. We don't know. We simply do not know.
I mean,
With his feet up, taking naps every now and then. What?
sipping
what?
his smoke tea.
There you go.
Whose brain would you hide out in?
Oh, none of yours.
What's
Do I
what's
have
our
In
access
real
to their-
life?
What's our
Between
field?
us five, the characters?
who
Whose
are we
brain
allowed to
talking
pick?
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think like what would be a chill environment because like nobody wants to be in here. This is a mess. This is gross. Bad place. But
Do
like
you have access to the memories? Or is it
Spade
live
does it.
broadcast?
Well, Spade
Yeah, I think
claims
it's a
he
Spade
doesn't.
sitch.
So it just I think it's just like
Izzy
where
is-
you want to be with someone's thoughts.
Are you calling dibs on my brain?
Actually, the
that what
dog.
that was?
Actually.
That's yeah.
You know, okay,
Yeah.
no, a dog would be a solid pick, though.
It's a
Like-
solid pick. I feel like it's got to be cozy.
But
It's
like,
gotta
what
be
if you
cozy.
find out dogs are like have like real messed up thoughts? Like, what a terrible. way
That's
to
why I
find
didn't pick a
out.
cat, because I'm pretty sure cats do.
I mean,
Even
we
by
know
my little
humans,
one's dreams.
we already know humans have like messed up brains and thoughts and stuff like that.
Definitely not dolphins.
Picking a dog, you know, your chances
It's the
were
safe
bad.
answer, honestly.
Anyway,
Also, we've
so-
seen what happens with being John Malkovich. I don't want to like watch through someone's eyes very far away and unable to touch society. I'd lose my damn mind.
Malkovich.
No,
But now you bring up the social aspect. Like, do you still have all your needs in somebody else's
Oh.
brain? Like, a need to socialize, a need.
I feel
for-
bad for whoever's head I'm in. Then God help that person. We are
Okay, yeah,
not
maybe in that
nearly drunk
instance,
enough.
a
We can
dog
go
would be a
further.
bad pick. Like, I want someone who watches like a little bit more TV than the other.
So you
Fair.
want to be my cat? Okay.
All right, do we have any questions for the showrunner?
No, Jessica didn't answer the question.
Oh,
Sorry.
what brain would I be in? I've been
Yes.
contemplating. I came up with the question and was like, "That's a great question. Let me think about it."
My job here is done.
Yeah, I've planted the seeds of discord, and now I fade away. Maybe someone like super creative, so I could just be like, "Wow, this is what it's like to like understand music or like dimensions or math." Oh, a math brain, and I could just watch someone else do math and like try to absorb it into myself.
See what's
Well, yeah,
good
I
to
think
me
that's
about
how
that
math-
is,
you have
like,
like
they'd be
superpower
equally
to like
tortured.
understand
Yeah.
as someone else's brain. Like if you have kind of like the understanding of the person at your disposal, that would be cool.
Or just like
Math is
maybe
not
like
my
they're
strong
like
point.
an avid reader and then I could be like, oh well, on my own I'd be scrolling through the phone, but now I'm forced to be disciplined and learn and develop as a human being. So yeah, just
Depends
someone
on what
better
they're
than
reading.
me.
Just someone better than me.
Yeah,
you know what?
absolutely.
Let's go with that.
Questions for
Questions
the
for the
reader?
showrunner.
Oh yeah.
For the
Story's like, oh yeah, the question I asked. I guess like what is the holdup, so to speak? Is this like a funding issue? Is it like everyone's working their day jobs and we don't really have time to, write the things and voice act the things and all the other things? It's so hard. Like Alonta, you brought up a good point. Like, what is the point where too much time has passed between episodes that people just stop listening? And even if they were interested at first, they lose that interest. Like even with us doing every other week, I'm like, okay, we had our first episode come out recently and it did all right, and then the second episode came out literally today when we're recording this,
yeah.
and I'm like, is that
giving away the
have people
secrets.
already forgotten about us? Like where they're like, oh, that was fun, and then like they didn't save the podcast, and now they're gone. Nobody could be listening to this one, and we won't know for months.
And it's on a American holiday.
Don't take my
Canadian
power
holiday
away from
too.
me. I've just been
Oh.
told I have power over people. Don't take that from me.
Okay. For me, I genuinely, because it sounds like everyone's pretty fresh on the scene, so I want to know and cultivate what is feeding them about this. Is it like they had this vision and they just wanted to bring it to life? Did they like, I want to be a voice actor, and it's like, let me make my own thing? Like what aspects of this like are feeding their soul?
What fills your
And-
cup?
what fills their cup, and because that's when you're starting out, that's all you might be running on for a little bit. So I want to make sure that's there for them.
Speaking of the resources they have available, I had to go double check because I failed to do this time. They do have a Patreon. They are doing the smart thing. Their Patreon tier names may give hints to what the hell's going on in the show.
Do
Are there
tell.
more episodes out on Patreon?
I don't think so yet. It just lists exclusive content fan request, which is, I may have used fan request, and Discord access. However, the tiers are named Worm and Elder Dragon.
Interested
Worm's
in
very-
Elder
Okay,
Dragon.
all right.
Cosmic horror.
Because you guys were saying, this is what got me. Sorry, I need to get into this because you guys were saying they have a plan. I was like, this was feeling D&D, and many DMs will tell you it's kind of session by session a lot of the time. Maybe
have
there's
the
some
broad
skeletons.
strokes. Back
Maybe
me up on
there's
this,
skeletons.
Izzy. We have the broad strokes.
But sometimes it's session by session, and you're like, oh, that was a great idea. Let me. Yeah.
Wait, what's the spelling of worm? Worm with a Y or worm with an O? Mm-hmm. Worm. Oh, so it's all dragon. Okay.
All dragon.
Little dragon, old dragon.
It kind of, it didn't give me the impression necessarily of like a D&D thing. It kind of gave me the impression of like, there's fiction online that kind of comes from like, there's a lot of characters who are like wolves or dragons or stuff like that. The folks who are writing them generally on the like younger side, like, gave me a little bit of that feel. Like, I have very small passing like familiarity with it, but like every now and again I'll get like a TikTok or a short or something with a dragon puppet acting something out, and like
What?
I kind of wonder if maybe this is an extension of that audience growing up. I'm
gonna need you to start putting those links in the Discord.
yeah.
That's the dragon puppet.
What side of the internet are you on, Izzy?
Wait,
I
are you talking about the
don't
busty dragon
know.
puppet?
No, they're like dragon hand puppets.
I will link you this later.
Honestly, that was the one thing that the thumbnail kind of reminded me of. Is that same sort of look?
Are
Like,
you doxing the dragon hand puppet people now? Is this them that we just they decide to make a podcast
I don't
out of
know,
their
like,
hand puppets?
you know what?
I never even looked at the picture for the podcast. I'm glad you
Oh
said
my
that.
god, yeah, the
Yeah.
picture for the show is an undead worm.
Yeah.
WYRM. Huh.
But I know, like, there's an entire like fan community that kind of like gets together for that. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe that this is sort of maybe.
Are you part of that? You can. This is a safe
You can-
space,
it's a
as we
safe
said.
space.
Are you
Honestly,
part of
no.
the
You
hand
can admit
dragon
it.
puppet
No.
community?
Honestly, no.
I feel like this is that community is kind of a group that formed out of the folks who like
Tumblr
the
Exodus?
Warriors Cat series, or the ones where like all the owls. Like, I know about it because my sibling's a children's librarian. Like, that's. So I get occasional updates as to like all the weird stuff that kids get up to. But like,
Okay.
you know, eventually those folks are going to be in their 20s, and maybe they're going to make stuff like this. I don't know. That could be a thing.
Wow. So Alonde is having a full body seizure. Listening to this. Jessica, for some reason, was doing an impersonation of a bird of some kind. I can't
Oh, that's just the nose.
I think
No.
I went off
it was-
the
it
rails,
was you
and
doing the-
someone needs to like put me back on track and in my place, because
No, I'm
you built
appreciating
your
this hole
own
you're
rails.
digging.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh wow.
it's what
Remember,
I it's
tune
what
in
I
for the horror. Stay for
what
the
I bring.
weird crap that comes out our mouths.
But yeah,
Do we have any
I will
other-
introduce this group to the puppets afterwards.
I don't want that.
You don't have to look.
I'm not on TikTok for good reason.
Oh wow.
I don't need that.
All right. Any other final questions that we want for the showrunners? Final thoughts that
Yeah, what's up?
chicken butt? I
Where
don't
you
know.
at, homie?
Just that. Just what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, like my only final thought is keep doing it, because like do not stop this so far. Like, we got the good question, we got the good build up. I want to see where it goes. Just
Yeah.
do something with it.
Yeah, I just
Keep it going.
again, since this is a newer show with presumably newer people involved, I kind of want to reiterate we all, I think, agree here that we're all interested. We all like where it's going. It's just,
Pickle.
anything we're saying isn't to like be mean or like hopefully not to be unfair in any way. We want to see this succeed. I hope it does. I hope there's more episodes. I hope everyone involved finds more confidence and more comfort in what they're doing as time goes on, and they're able to continue the story to its fullest completion. I feel like every podcast we watch or listen to, we want you to be successful.
Absolutely.
So anything we're saying, it's always hard when you're starting out to receive initial criticism or critique or feedback, because it always feels very personal, even when it does come from like a place of like good intentions. And like, we're just strangers on the internet. Our ideas might not even matter here. We're not experts by any degree in anything, except for Clay, who's listened to probably 800 plus hours of podcasts.
Yeah, if any of us are, it's Clay.
Yeah.
That up real quick.
No, we're
So
just
if any
cheerleaders.
If anything feels like in bad
Copyright.
faith or that we're coming at you in any way, I hope you don't feel that way. But it's you didn't ask to be critiqued, and yet here we are critiquing you.
I will just, to echo Jessica, I see nothing but potential for everyone involved, from voice actors to writers to audio producers to everyone. Please keep going. Please keep going. Please keep going.
There's such a learning curve with everything in production. Like, there's so much, and the only way you get better is just to do it. Just keep moving forward. Don't get discouraged. If you have a friend who is like, "Hey, could you listen to my podcast?" Please don't say, "I'll wait until it comes out," because they need your ear. They do. And they need your support before it becomes famous and keeps people helping them out, cheering them on. It's like the earlier in the whole process, the more personal everything needs to be. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. Well,
I think this may be the nicest we've been in any episode ever.
Is
I
it?
don't like it.
I feel like we tried to be pretty nice.
we always try to find
Are we
the
mean?
silver
Are we the
lining.
baddies?
No.
Are we the bad guys?
Is this playable? No. I don't think we're ever mean. But I mean, we do have strong
Yeah, bullies
opinions.
never
We
do,
have-
right?
Yeah. That's,
Damn.
Well, never mind. I was just gonna say we're just trying to help bring some ears to new podcasts. So this is our way of helping out, and we're not gonna. I mean, there's never been one that we've been like, "This is shit. This is total shit right here." Like, there's always redeeming qualities of what. Yeah, I know.
Language.
There's always
However,
redeeming
listeners,
qualities.
if you know of that show, send it to us.
Oh my god.
We'll have a super
Sorry.
special
Non
April
sequitur
Fools-
moment.
April Fool's Day episode with the really bad.
We
podcast.
just review a fake podcast.
Oh my god, I would love to review a show that's just one of my favorite shows to yell. Quick, not in sequitur. One of my favorite shows to yell at is Lost Girl, because it's just like, why is she making all the wrong choices?
Alante, I'm gonna
but I
stop
love
you.
watching it
I'm going to
because.
stop you because this is going to be an hour after we're done recording. And I
Okay.
have thoughts on this.
Okay. Please send us those shows that you love to yell at.
Yeah, 100%. We want to know.
That makes me happy.
Even if we don't use them, someone's going to listen. We'll have Clay listen to them first and tell us if they were worth yelling about.
yeah. I'm sure we're gonna have a unanimous no pickle at some point.
Oh, for sure.
I
This
feel
is
like
not a
the
no
show would
pickle.
have to be offensively bad. Just throwing slurs around and not in a subversive way.
Yeah. So moving on to our general topic for this podcast, kind of sparked here, the hardship of consistent scheduling. Since we know we only have 2 episodes that have come out this year so far, and they were several months apart, let's have a little conversation about how hard it is to put a podcast together in general and get it out on time.
Who wants to go first?
I'll bite the bullet. I really need to stop voice acting just because my environment does not make it conducive. So if I can record now, it's 3 in the morning. I'm half asleep, and like I can kind of make out the lines. They're a little blurry, and it sucks. So even getting like a live table read as opposed to even just a live recording, I can only imagine, unless it's something akin to your day job, is pulling teeth. So don't let that stop you. But yeah, no, scheduling sucks, and even just having deadlines sucks.
It is a
Yeah, during the summer I
monumental
have to
task.
turn the AC off to record because it has a background hub, and Arizona in the summer, it's triple digits for like over half the year sometimes. So I try to not record big stories during the summer, just take on like smaller dialogue roles and stuff like that. But even then, like, there's trash day to consider. There's your neighbors are loud and you share a wall to consider. There was one time, I don't know, it's the most insight I got into my neighbors. They had this wild playlist going. It was just like all over the place. It was awful, and I was like, where is my death metal? We need to fight back the only way I can. It's like, I can hear you. I can hear you. Now you will hear me.
Yeah, I've got construction sites on both sides of my building right now. So.
Oh, I live next to, it was a small airport, but it was an airport nonetheless, and I was
Oh
like,
my god.
and then I lived next to an Air Force base, and that was even better.
Ooh. Yeah, summers are hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in an apartment, so sometimes you just don't know if someone's doing jumping jacks for like an hour. And you know cats. But, so, I did a thing, and we had a monthly release, and I did the cardinal sin of not creating a backlog first. So anyone creating a new thing, it's very important to create a backlog first. Don't release your first episode till you released 3 or 4 in the can.
Yep.
Please don't make my mistake. It is hard.
That my industry was furloughed and I was able to help was a boon.
Yeah, but I think back to the question of like what the ideal cadence should be, it does seem like weekly for like story is good with a break between seasons for making sure you're taking care of yourself. I think a month is too long for a short show.
I feel for like
Maybe
for a
it does
narrative
scale for the
show, a month in between episodes, you're probably like if it's an anthology show and you have an episode every month where it's new stories, new characters, whatever, and you don't need to remember anything from the previous episode, you can have longer periods between episodes. But when you have a story where you have these little hints coming out and little clues to the world and you're developing lore and character connections, it's very easy to forget in between what's happening, you know, unless there's already a backlog that you can binge. But in this case, we only have 2 episodes.
See, and I'll
Does
go
a-
more of a production side where, like, if you were a solo cast, like you're the writer, director, blah, 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 the one-man show, which we've seen a few of, yeah, weekly. I think the more talent you have to work with, I'm going to give you more leeway. Once we start hitting, like 4 voice actors as a common cast, I'll give you bi-week. I'll give you a month.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah. I think a month is respectable.
Well, just like a little behind the scenes for No Sleep, at least, it's a full month for every episode that comes out. So I do the editing and the story selecting, and I format it for audio, cast it, and then I send it to our admin, who sends it to the voice actors. They have a week's deadline, and at this point, our core cast kind of knows when to expect an assignment role or not, and for the most part, are pretty good about getting it on the deadline. And then the producers have their initial cut of it, and then they send that initial cut to Brandon, who composes music for it, and then it goes back to the producers, who add in the sound effects and add in the music where it belongs. And that's a full month for one episode, for one 2-hour episode, split into 2 halves. And that's from a professional podcast production company.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are doing this not as their full-time job. They're doing this after work or on weekends or something like that. So it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh yeah, you have to be
And-
really
yeah.
organized. I'll say for Ashley and I, when we're doing It's All in the Cards, we have like a document that is our entire schedule that blocks out like when each episode is going to come out, which means that it has to be to the producer by this time, which means it has to be to the VAs by this time beforehand, which means it has to be written by this time. So we have all those dates kind of lined up so that we can stay on track, and we still miss them a lot. We give ourselves a lot of leeway.
With buffers.
Yeah, big
With buffers. Because anybody can get sick or something could happen at any time, and just like life happens.
Oh, and let me tell you, listeners will let you know if you are late, even if it's by a couple hours. People get very... If you have a consistent schedule and they're used to that schedule, and then you are late for that schedule for whatever reason, they'll tell you. They'll certainly tell you.
Because they
So they're like
care,
cats.
right?
Yeah.
Truth.
This is what I'm hearing, is listeners are cats.
Why aren't you up? It's 5 a.m. I'm hungry.
We train them, and then they irritate
You're
us.
exactly
So much.
3 minutes late for my dinner. What is wrong with you?
Dare.
So I'm curious if you guys think maybe like the Netflix model could, just hypothetically, could a Netflix model work for a single podcast? Meaning like
Just-
a batch of 6, say it's a 12 episode season, 6 episodes were released, and then there's a gap, and then the last 6 is
Oh,
released.
like a releasing as blocks.
Yeah, releasing as
a
blocks.
binging.
I would say at least have the first few episodes ready and bingeable. So, because like you listen to the first episode, and again, you could forget about the show immediately afterwards if there's no second episode there to keep you invested. But if you have like maybe 3 episodes ready, then by that point it's in your brain. You're like, okay, I'm ready to wait until next week or the next or every other week to hear the rest of this. I'm invested. I'm ready to go. But because unless you have just a stellar, incredible, grasping first episode, it's kind of hard to keep that attention.
Yeah, you need to
together.
keep some tabs open in your brain, so you pick the ones that you really, really want.
I do think that's a great idea. Like, drop the first couple of episodes together so people get a really good taste of what's coming.
Do you do that? So, just hypothetically, would you do that as like a every week, or like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then do some?
I think you'd do the first bunch as a block to really get like people invested, and then there's probably some benefit for like the weekly release because more word of mouth, sort of like stranding them in time might play with the algorithms of things on a release schedule. I don't know. That was more your thing than mine, actually.
That always brings it back then you do need a backlog. You need these episodes ready to go. And while you're waiting on these episodes, you are not getting paid for them.
Yeah.
And then let's say you make the whole first season by yourself. You pour your heart and soul into it. You put it out there. And then it's just met with dead silence. Like, that would be heartbreaking, or like, again, like you don't know what the problems are yet because you don't have any listener feedback until it all comes out, and you're like, well, now it's too late because it's already all out.
Yeah. Fix it in season 2.
I've heard that there's a lot of things that just don't kind of come back around and start really getting feedback until season 2. So I've heard that's a thing.
Really?
I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they probably get the entire season 1 done, and then they don't have the feedback. They can't
And
make
then
any
once
changes.
you have that bingeable kind of backlog, that maybe there's like different, like what's the word I'm looking for? Types of people. So it's like there's the people who are like they're invested by the first episode and they'll check back, and then there's the people who are like invested at the 3 episode mark, and there's some who just aren't invested at all until they have like the first 10 that they can binge. That could be a thing.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to put out there to the world about Divine Calamity? Refugees.
I'll say, if you believe in it, you will find your audience, I think. As long as you are doing your very best, you're putting as much as you, like, even if it's not where you are in a year from now, what you're doing now, as long as you're doing the best you can, it'll find someone that resonates with. As long as the story's there, the characters feel real, the world feels lived in, it'll find its audience. Might be a smaller audience than you would have hoped for, but I kind of like those audiences better personally. I like smaller communities for things.
The
Yeah,
engagement,
smaller
For
communities are generally just more wholesome.
Yeah.
Less toxic.
Yeah,
It's still sometimes, but less.
still sometimes. Yeah.
I will say, I guess shameless plug of join our Discord.
That's
and
true.
that, like, I have found, like, Ashley from a podcaster support group, and, like, it's led to some cool stuff. And so, like, you know, you're gonna find your community, and you never know where it leads. And it's important to, like, have those friends who cheer you on. And I would love us to be people who cheer everyone on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendship.
So ditto.
On that beautiful note, that wraps up today's discussion. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Hear It in Horror podcast. If you haven't already, we hope you'll go listen to Divine Calamity Refugees. Give them a nice rating on whatever podcast app you're using. And if you have a suggestion of a podcast that you want us to do, please drop it in the comments below. Give us a message, whatever. You know we'll be there. We're all over the internet. Next time, we'll be discussing Badlands Cola. Until then, this episode ends, but the horror
Cool
keeps
name.
playing. The Hear It in Horror podcast is presented by Dabbed in Ink. Hear Adventure. I don't know if Ashley wants that, but I'm putting it in there.
Badlands what now?
Cola.
Badlands Cola.
Sounds great.
So is it like a Fallout? Is it like a Fallout show?
No,
That's-
it's
Ashley here, reminding you to check us out on Patreon, where you can get early access to episodes and, when you join, are automatically invited to all the recording sessions. Follow us on Instagram at Hear It in Horror Podcast for all the updates. Hear It in Horror Podcast is brought to you by Dabbed in Ink. Hear Adventure.